everybody, and welcome to my podcast. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Josh, living life alcohol free. And today I wanted to talk to you about staying sober and happy. There's many things that we can do, and I'm excited to talk to you about the things that I've done and what I think will benefit you in your sobriety. Number one, learn a new skill. When I was a drinker, I really didn't do too much of anything. I was really only focused on drinking. I didn't care about too many other things. I didn't really have any hobbies or any skills that I focused on a regular basis. But when I got sober, I started really looking into things that I could do to fill that time that I normally would have been thinking about drinking, actually drinking, or recovering from drinking, which took up my days pretty much 24/7 if you drank like I did. I started taking up hiking. I started looking at maps. I started studying parks in my area, and I started going to those parks and taking hikes. It was very meditating. It was very inspiring, and it rejuvenated me and left me feeling much better than actually drinking would have. So that's one thing that I did. Since then, I started a YouTube channel in the fourth year, and that's really been something that I've been growing in. Number two, focusing on sleep and hygiene. Sleep is a huge thing when you get sober, and if you're sober, you know what it's like. Drinking caused so much agony that we'd wake up at 3 a.m. with the heart pounding, with indigestion, not being able to go back to sleep very well, and we might toss and turn for the rest of the morning until we get up and just feel bad, and being sober, sleep is so much better, so rewarding, like a lot of things. And when I would get up, I started a new routine of I would either take a shower or I would just get up, splash some water on my face, get my hair wet, brush my hair, brush my teeth, and make my bed. And that was a routine that I started when I got sober, and I've been doing it ever since. And it just feels better when you wake up and you're ready to go for the day. You slept well, you're taking care of yourself, and instead of sleeping in, feeling sleep deprived, not feeling well, having bedhead, and if you have to go to work, you do all those things, but you still feel crummy throughout the morning, and it takes till the afternoon to feel better. Whereas being sober or alcohol free or drug free, you just wake up, you get going, and you feel way better. Number three, helpful apps. I currently use This Naked Mind. I've been on that since I started getting sober 4.5 years ago, and I've been on it ever since. Well, at the beginning of the year, I picked up a new app, YouVersion Bible app, and I do the Robert Roberts reading plan, and I spend 15 to 20 minutes a day reading the Bible, and it's really beneficial and helpful in my sobriety to have apps like that. There's also meditation apps that you can get. I personally use YouTube. I just get on there. I find every 6 months or so, I find a meditative song or a body scan or something like that that helps me just relax. We get so bogged down in our day-to-day routines. If you're like me, your mornings are busy, and by lunchtime, you're just like, ah. So I like to take 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes to just meditate, sit still, think about nothing. Or if I have something on my mind, I'll let it play through. But after a few minutes, I've worked it out and I'm able to relax, slow my breathing, and that sets me up well for the afternoon. So apps help. Doing your research and finding things that work for you help. And that's what's helped me stay sober and stay happy. Number four, journaling. Your thoughts and your feelings, the things that you're going through on a day-to-day basis, it helps to write those things down. I personally didn't use a journal. I used This Naked Mind, and I would just get on there and I would spend 20 minutes every morning typing out my feelings, my thoughts, and I would use that as a way to communicate how I was feeling. I might get feedback, I might get encouragement. It was always good to get it out and let people know how I felt. But I found that a lot of my friends would just journal personal stuff and they didn't share it with anybody else, but they would just write it in a journal and it would get their thoughts and their feelings out on paper. And they would do that for months and months. And I could tell that they were benefiting from it because they were less and less angry. So I know that journaling works. It doesn't matter how you journal, just the fact that you get your feelings and thoughts down on paper, digitally, or whatever helps you will really benefit you, help you in your sobriety and happiness. 5, turn off the clock. Stop worrying about time. Set it aside. When I quit drinking, I found that it was almost a superpower. So much time opened up. I didn't worry anymore about getting this done and getting that done and getting to this, or trying to feel better from a hangover, or worrying about what I was going to drink later, or how much I was going to drink, or all those mental gymnastics that came with time. If you're like me, you always planned on a time to drink, whether you were off of work and you were going to drink earlier in the day, or whether you were at work and you were going to drink when you were done with work. If you had to work the next morning, how late could you stay up and drink? What could you drink? All those things that come along with being a drinker. Now you have time to focus on all these other things, and it feels like there is endless time. That made me feel a sense of peace because I didn't feel like I was rushed. I felt like I could spend my time thinking about things that actually bring me joy, and then spend time doing those things, and it would leave me feeling better, more peaceful, more at ease, less anxious, and everything that goes along with a time crunch. 6, reflect. Take time to be grateful. What are you grateful for? A gratitude journal even helps. I would spend my mornings sometimes just thinking of 3 simple things that make me feel joy, feel happy. And it might just be a simple thing like the sunrise, or a sip of hot coffee or tea, or a breakfast, or just a smile that you get from your kids or your spouse or anything like that. Those kinds of things that you're grateful for can fill up your heart with joy. And instead of drinking away all the pain and all the anxiety, we can actually be grateful for the things that we have. And I know that I was grateful for just not drinking each day, and just one day at a time, and building on those things that you're grateful for, and reflecting on the things that happened in your day, knowing that you lived your life to the fullest. You didn't drink, you made it, you learned some things that day. And reflecting really is a powerful tool in sobriety. Number 7, talk about your feelings. Be vulnerable. Maybe you have a spouse, maybe you have a best friend, maybe you have a relative or a parent or somebody that you can talk to. If you can talk about your feelings, talk about your emotions, and get all that out, not just writing it out, but actually talking it out with somebody in real life, is a huge, huge benefit. I know for me, when I was first quitting drinking, I did have This Naked Mind, and that was 24/7. I can get on there and type anytime I want and get automatic feedback. I might get 10, 15 comments in the first hour, and it was a huge benefit. But therapy, I only had that once a week, and I had to wait for that. So that wasn't necessarily something that helped me in my day to day basis. But I had my wife that would be there, and it was during COVID, so we were always at home, and that really benefited me to be able to talk about those things and get that off my chest and not worry so much about having to hold those feelings in, especially when it's an urge to drink. That is a big one. If you can get to the bottom of why you're having that urge to drink, you're going to benefit, especially if you have a community of people, an app, or someone that you can talk to in person, a sponsor. If you go to AA and you have a sponsor, or you have a sober group that you're part of, that you can call and reach out to someone right away. Get those feelings, those thoughts out. Once that urge passes in a half an hour or whatever it takes, you can move on with your day, and you feel proud and you feel stronger for the next urge. 8, be social. This is a big one for me. I grew up an only child. I had friends, I had girlfriends, I had family, but for a lot of time I was by myself with my thoughts, with my worries, with my anxieties. And when I found alcohol, I basically just felt relief. Like I could just drink those things away, and I kind of let my social aspects fall to the wayside. So I never really made a lot of friends after I started really getting addicted to alcohol in my early 20s. And just making friends was just something that was awkward and I wasn't really comfortable with. So I kind of just stayed on my own. As I got sober and I started making friendships, and albeit a lot of them were online, in the second, third, and fourth year in my sobriety, I've actually been able to reach out to friends at church, friends at work, and actually open up and talk to people and have friendships that are authentic. And being social is just a huge thing. I look at my someone like my pastor, and I can tell that he's one of these social butterflies. You know, he'd smile. He's someone who will go right up to the cashier, say, how you doing today, and what time did you start today, and man, this is hard work, and you're doing a great job. And people in the restaurant would see him and be like, hey, it's Brad, hey, and he'd be like, hey, and how's it going today? And those are the kinds of things that I necessarily didn't have, those tools. And I blame my drinking for that. But now that I'm way past that, and I'm 4.5 years into my sobriety, I don't really blame that anymore. That's way in the past. But it did take a long time, even a year maybe or two, to get to a point where I felt comfortable. And now that I'm comfortable talking about my sobriety, it's even better because that opens up more avenues, more conversations. And I don't know if you've noticed it, but I have. There's a lot more people in our society that are going alcohol free. They're noticing that alcohol just really isn't very good anymore. And people are using techniques, going to places and being alcohol free. And I find that it's really opening up a whole new opportunity to have conversations about where you've been, where I've been, and bring those to the table. So that's real helpful. 9, go outside, get some fresh air, get some sunshine. It's just scientific proof that sunshine helps your mental state, increases your dopamine levels naturally, whereas alcohol definitely doesn't, and increases your vitamin D. It just makes your skin feel better, makes your mental clarity better, and it just helps to get outside, even if it's for 5 minutes, a 5-minute walk. I know winter's coming up. You can see behind me that the leaves are falling down, and it's going to be starting to get cold here pretty soon. So what are you going to do? That first year that I was sober, I noticed that I didn't get outside in the wintertime much. I put on 5 to 10 pounds, and I realized that I just was walking less. So I didn't feel great going into spring. So that next winter, I remembered what happened last winter, and I started to be more proactive at just even taking like a 5-minute walk outside and doing that like 3 or 4 times a day. And that would add up. And I would even take the dogs out for a quick walk if it was warm enough. In fact, I started to like winter more because I would start going to these parks when it was not, too cold or too windy or too icy and snowy. But I would go to these parks on a decent day. And although it's gray out there, there are days that we still get sunshine here. I try to take advantage of that in the wintertime now, but it really helps my mood level to be proactive on getting outside. Number 10, last but not least, join a community in sobriety. And I didn't really realize it until I found This Naked Mind just a couple days after I stopped drinking, that community was going to be the key to my success. I realized at that time that I needed people. I wasn't going to be able to do this alone. And I realized as time went on that the sobriety part of it wasn't just the only thing. It's church, it's building the YouTube channel, it's building a Facebook group that I've created that I'm trying to build on. It's asking for help from other people, getting feedback and being open that helps us in not only in our sobriety but in our life and being happy. I personally believe in God, and I have grown in my faith over these past few years. So for me, joining a community of like-minded people and my faith has helped me to grow and learn and understand. I never read the Bible. My whole life, I never read the Bible. I would read a passage here and there, or I'd listen to the pastor at the church, but I never really was proactive at it, and it was because I didn't understand it. But since being part of a church community and then starting the Bible reading plan that actually is written out for me on that app, the YouVersion app, kinds of things in those communities guide me into those situations sometimes. I can't just find it on my own sometimes. It's other people and what they've gone through and what they've tried that we're able to learn from and take and see if it works for us. That's the beauty of it. So if you've taken solace in this video and you find it helpful, I loved sharing all these things with you, all 10 of these things. These are just simple things that can make your everyday life much better. And they've helped me, and I know that they can help you too. I've got a Facebook group, Sobriety in the Storm. I'm going to pin the link on the bottom there in the comments section. You can click on that. Come on over. There's just a few questions you have to answer. They'll help me kind of get to know who you are and why you want to get sober, or why you want to find a different community or anything like that. It's a group of like-minded people where they're 24/7 to help each other. Community is everything in sobriety. So I'm glad you're here. Like and subscribe to my channel, and I'd be forever grateful to you. And have a great day. Great sober day.